guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a good week so far and you're excited for another speed build. So for today we're working on an apartment for a single mom and 5 daughters. So I kind of imagine that maybe there were actually 6 daughters, but one doesn't live with her. So I don't know whether I'll name this 5 daughters or 6 daughters, but 5 are living here. But I kind of imagine she had an older daughter as well. So I don't know. But we are working in the apartment 20 Culpeper house today. And you guys know I love the Culpepers. I always have. I don't know why. I just think the shape of these apartments is just kind of what I imagine as like the shape of an apartment in this world. I don't know how to explain what I mean, but the more modernized apartments I don't really like as much. It doesn't really fit my personal style, I suppose. So I really like these kind of like a bit more old-fashioned looking apartments, and I love building in them. So anywho, we do have quite a big living space. Now, this is only a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, so it is quite small considering it is quite a large space. But I did make good use of the living space. We do have a massive kitchen dining area, and we do have a separate lounge, which I don't normally do. I do usually turn it into another bedroom, but I thought for today we would just kind of utilise how much space we had for the more communal areas. And to be honest, we didn't need an extra bathroom or bedroom. Of course, it would be ideal to have an extra bathroom considering we do have lots of kiddos, but I mean, you could probably fit it in somewhere if you really wanted. So I will be uploading this apartment hopefully later today, if not tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I usually forget once I finish the video. I do apologise. But yeah, so we do have a single mom, and I kind of imagine that maybe she was like full-time working all the time. She doesn't really have much time for her kiddos. The kids spend most of their time with their grandmother. The grandmother does stay over quite a lot. They do have kind of like a fancy living space. Maybe she stays on the sofa, or the mum does, and you know, takes it in turns looking after the kids. I kind of imagine the grandmother was more of their mum than their actual mother, because the mum is always working. But of course, you know, if you had 5-6 kids, then you would have to work a lot to afford to keep them alive. So it's understandable. So the grandmother does take care of the kids quite a lot. So we do have 4 children, and we do have 1 toddler, and then I think the older one is probably a young adult already. Maybe she does have her own family or something. I don't see her too often because she doesn't live in the same city as them. So that is a little bit of the backstory, but I kind of imagine that the mum is kind of like business obsessed. She's maybe like, I don't think she has her own business, maybe she's like a manager or something, so she's busy all the time, and she loves her daughters, of course she does, but she is very work focused just to try and give them a better life. So, you know, it's still a positive thing, but maybe the kids don't see it that way right now because they're still a bit too young. But anywho, so the theme for this apartment, in case you couldn't tell, is very green. We've got lots of green, we've got lots of white. I think it looks really pretty. I absolutely love the way it turned out. And my fan is behaving, guys. My fan has been going wild in build mode. I'm not too sure why, specifically in Tartosa. Why, I don't know. Maybe the graphics of that world are just insane. So I'm really happy about that. I actually behaved completely today, so that's always good. I have turned my graphics down slightly, but it doesn't look any different, so I mean, I'm not complaining. If it makes my computer run better and doesn't change anything, that's a win to me. So anyway, we are now just finishing up in the dining space. I didn't put too much in the dining room. I never really filled the dining room up too much because it's not a space I use that often, and I did go ahead and move on to the living space. I did include a fireplace. I know technically it probably wouldn't make sense on this wall, but it doesn't have to be real. I mean, it's a game. So and before I get comments, I do apologize to those people who don't like big families in The Sims, that I do have 5 to 6 daughters in this build. I had a comment the other day where someone was like, why do you always have so many children? I'm like, because I like big families in The Sims, okay? So to that one person, I apologize if this offends you, but they are just beds in a virtual build, so I hope it doesn't ruin your day too much. I do find it funny. The internet is a wild place, honestly. There's so much negativity, and there's also a lot of positivity, and I think you have to kind of balance that out in your own head of like trying not to take on the negativity too much and try and take on board the nice things. But it is very difficult to balance that, and I think a lot of people do spend most of the time focused on the negativity, but then you don't know who you're talking to. These people could be crazy, they could have their own problems. It's so much easier just to try and shut out all of the negativity. It's not easy, that's the wrong word. it is not easy to do that, but it's best to try to do that, is what I meant to say. So if you are getting negativity online, just try and focus on the good things, because if you only focus on the negatives, then you'll just wear yourself out and it's really not worth it. I think being in the public eye, even to my extent, I mean, not that anyone really knows who I am, I very rarely show my face online, but even, you know, with 8,000 subscribers, which to me that's a lot, but in the grand scheme of life that's not that many. And it's crazy how much hate you get when I am just a Sims builder. Like, I don't know how celebrities deal with all the negativity, I really don't. But I guess they do have like a lot more fans maybe than they do haters. I'm not too sure, maybe not, maybe it's equal par, but I'm not too sure. But it is crazy how much negativity is on the internet. Even this morning I was looking at this I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I was looking at this couple, I assume they were a couple or just two people, and they were performing a cover of this Welsh song, and I looked in the comments thinking people are going to be like, oh, it sounds really great, because I thought it was really good, and they were like, you've ruined the song. I was like, my lord, why do people just have to say negative things? If you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say it, unless it's like, you know, a need to say it if something's bad or like, you know, something's being harmed or something. If you just don't like something on the internet, just scroll past it, who cares? Like, you really need to just like impose your opinion on people who aren't asking for it. I guess if you put stuff online, you are kind of asking for everything, but I don't get it. I'd never do that personally. So I commented something nice and they replied, and you know, but then I know that will probably bother them, as it would anybody. Anything online, anyone behind a keyboard who's got something negative to say, of course it's going to bother somebody to a certain extent. It's just not letting it affect you long term, I think, is the important thing. It is quite difficult sometimes, and you know, the internet can be cruel, but I'm just really, really grateful for all of the good people I do have, and I just want to say a massive thank you to those people, because lately there's been more negativity arising, when isn't there, with negative people and fake things and fake stories. And I think probably one of the most hardest things about being in the public eye, to whatever extent, is people making you out to be a person you're not. I think that's my biggest problem. Like, words don't really mean anything, really. I mean, they can call you what they like, but when people try and make out that you're a bad person or say that you said something or done something that's not true, I think that's probably the worst part, when they just try and like mess with your soul, you know? Like, I think that's personally the hardest part. I'm fortunate that I don't really give two tiddles what someone says about me, because I know what's true, but I do feel really sorry for those people who take it to heart, and I just want to give you a big hug and just say that it'll be okay, and those people really aren't worth your precious time. And I'm just so grateful that we do have such a great community here. Granted, there are a lot of negative people too, but we try and remove them. But I just want to say a massive thank you to those who actually see me for me, and you enjoy my content. And you know, I've never really shown my face on the internet. A couple of times, granted, I've got some thumbnails on my face in it, because I mean, I don't really care, but I don't want to be liked or disliked for something that's irrelevant to my content, you know? I think it's the same for other creators, when people get hate for the way they look, or I just don't understand it. That's completely irrelevant to your work. I just want to be liked for my work, and I'm so grateful that I've got 8,000 of you just because you like my work. That means so much to me. So I just want to say a massive thank you to those people, and I know you guys watching are subscribers and you're part of that 8,000, and I hope you know how much it means to me, so a big thank you. But I'm sorry I've rambled on, but I just think it's important to say that. Anyway, back onto the build. We are now just finishing up in the girls' room. How perfect is this bedroom. If I'd have had this room when I was a child, I would have like lived in here. My room was definitely filled with stuff when I was little. It was organised chaos. I'm an only child. My grandparents and my parents always got me a lot of things, but I looked after it. Like, that's the thing. When people go, oh, you're so spoiled, I'm like, well, yes, okay, my parents and grandparents did get me a lot of stuff as a kid because they could, and I was an only child, but I literally worshipped everything. I never really asked for anything. I was so grateful for anything I had and looked after it to like impeccable condition. The only things that have now broken are because they've got old, like some plastic things from when I was little. I don't know whether you guys know Sylvanian families. I was obsessed with Sylvanian families, still am, to be honest. I've still got all of them. But I did have this bus and I was obsessed with the bus. I had it when I was 1 year old, so it's got very brittle now because it's now 24 years old, which is insane. But other than that, nothing's ever really been broken, so I don't know where I was going with this story. Oh yeah, bedrooms. My room was filled with teddies as a child. I used to play nursery with them. I had a whiteboard. I was like the nursery school teacher. Obsessed. Anything to do with like families, schools, and it's the same. Sylvania families, Barbies have now just turned on to Sims, so I haven't really changed. I even used to have marbles, and the marbles used to have families. So I just always love families. To that person who commented why I have such big families in The Sims, I just like families, okay? But anyway, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I am going to end the voiceover by here today, guys. I'm sorry I've rambled on, but I hope it meant something to somebody who's listening, and I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you. So with that being said, I wish you all the most wonderful day. Like always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, share it with a friend, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time for another speed build. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.